Chapter 734. Bring Xiao Xiao along. She's good at taking care of children and Shosho is close to her. If anything happens to Lingqing, she can handle it immediately. That's good too. I can be more at ease. Bai Ye agreed readily. You don't have to worry about the others. I'll let them continue their research at the base. One more thing. Mom keeps asking you where you went. She asked me why I married someone else. I didn't dare to tell her before. I only said that you went abroad to study. Are you and Lingqing going back to see Mom this time? Xing Bohua asked. Bai Ye looked at Gu Lingqing and asked, Are we going back to see Mom this time? Gu Lingqing nodded. Yes. Okay. Bai Ye replied to Xing Bohua. We'll go back to see Mom this time. Let's make an appointment. Let's meet tonight. I'll be back by noon. I'll go fishing in the lake and come back to drink fish soup. This year's fish should be fatter than last year's. Xing Bohua smiled. His eyes were warm. He still remembered the delicious taste of Bai Ye's fish soup. It was strange. He used to dream of Bai Ye often. But ever since Bai Ye went to Gu Lingqing's side, he never dreamed of her. Sometimes he felt like her. He couldn't even remember what she looked like. Okay. See you tonight. Xing Bohua hung up. Gu Lingqing looked at Bai Ye deeply. He wanted to say something but stopped. In the end, he didn't say anything. They packed their luggage and went back. Bai Ye was still nervous. She hadn't left the base for a long time. She didn't know if Xing Bohua had told Mom about Gu Lingqing. She didn't know how Lu Shuang and Shaniyan were doing. She was afraid that she couldn't focus on anything, so she didn't contact them. She didn't care about them and didn't think about them. Gu Lingqing held her hand. I'm here. Bai Ye smiled. He should be the one who was more nervous and worried. On the contrary, he was calm. Even if Mount Tai collapsed in front of him, his expression would not change. She could not be as calm as him. Mom will be happy to see you and Shosho, said Bai Ye. I'm happy to see you too, Gu Lingqing said. Bai Ye was happy to hear him say this. She leaned on his shoulder and said, Let's find LV Bowie first. After solving our worries, we'll choose a city we like to live in and occasionally go to a deserted island for vacation. How about that? Among them, you want to do something meaningful, Gu Lingqing corrected him. Bai Ye agreed. We will do anything meaningful together. Unknowingly, the car had almost arrived at the manor. Bai Ye started to feel nervous again. This feeling was very strange, but it was also a little excited and expectant. When the car arrived at the entrance, Bai Ye realized that it was still the same guards. Madam. Mr. President. The guards greeted respectfully. They saw an unknown driver and a woman carrying a child in the car. He's not the president. He's your chief Gu, Bai Ye explained. Gu Lingqing looked at the guards coldly. These people used to be his shadows. Even if he hadn't seen them for a year and a half, he could still recognize them at a glance. They were all excited when they saw Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing remained calm and said in a low voice, Thank you. It's Chief, it's Chief. Chief is back. Chief is finally back, the guards shouted excitedly with tears in their eyes. Gu Lingqing nodded. He didn't show much expression and ordered the driver, Let's go. The car continued to move forward. Bai Ye wanted to laugh. This was Gu Lingqing. The man she loved deeply. No matter what was suitable, he would always look like a serious soldier. Soon, the car arrived at the entrance of the manor. Song Shiyu rushed out of the door. Zhang Xingyu and Lin Shulan followed behind her. Lin Shulan's face had been repaired twice. It was almost healed. There was only a slight color difference left. This problem could be fixed with makeup. Gu Lingqing got out of the car first. Bai Ye got out of the car soon after. Then came Xiao Xia, who was carrying Shoushou. Song Shiyu was very emotional. She walked to Gu Lingqing. Before she said anything, her tears flowed out. Lingqing, it's you. It's really you. Gu Lingqing looked at Song Shiyu deeply and replied, "Yes, Mom." Song Shiyu covered her mouth and cried. "Mom, we're back," Bai Ye comforted her. "I know. Actually, I knew it a long time ago. It's not Hua, it's not you. It's not Hua, it's your twin brother. You must be treating your illness outside," Song Shiyu said emotionally. Bai Ye knew that Song Shiyu had something to say to Gu Lingqing. So, she didn't interrupt. "How can I not know my own child? I don't want to say it. I don't want to make things difficult for you. Fortunately, we're back." Song Shiyu held Gu Lingqing's face. He was still cold, cool, and emotionless. Song Shiyu was very happy. This was Gu Lingqing. She turned around and held Bai Ye's hand. "You child, how can you be so cruel? You left without even calling me. Do you know how worried I was? I was afraid that Lingqing was already dead. You went to die for love." Bai Ye's eyes turned red too. She didn't dare to say it. She didn't want to say it. She disappeared for no reason. At least those who cared about her would have some thoughts. Later on, she found out that Gu Lingqing was still alive but in a vegetative state. She still didn't dare to say it. After Gu Lingqing woke up, she accompanied him during his rehabilitation. She still didn't say it. She thought that she would come back when Gu Lingqing was fully recovered. So, she didn't say it. "I'm sorry, Mom," Bai Ye apologized. "Silly child, why would I blame you? It's good that you're back. You must have suffered outside." Song Shiyu felt bad for Bai Ye and Gu Lingqing. "No, Big Brother took good care of us outside. It's me who worked hard," Bai Ye said. "It's okay. I have you guys now." "It doesn't matter at all," Song Shiyu said happily. She thought of something and looked at Shoushou. Shoushou had his teeth out. He was biting on the teething stick. He was very obedient. His eyes were wide open and he stared at Song Shiyu without blinking. "He's Shoushou, Gu Shoushi. He's 7 months old now. He can't walk or talk but he can crawl. He's a boy," Bai Ye explained. "The child in your tummy is so big. That's great. Let Grandma carry him," Song Shiyu said and went to carry Shoushou. Shoushou had been carried by this person and that person since he was young, so he wasn't that shy. After he was carried by Song Shiyu, he didn't cry or make a fuss. He continued to bite on the teething stick. Song Shiyu had always wanted to carry a grandson. She loved this adorable Shoushou. "Old madam, it's cold outside. Come in and sit," Lin Shulan reminded. Yes, come in quickly," Song Shiyu said and carried Shoushou into the house. "Madam," Lin Shulan called Bai Ye. His eyes were red. "We all missed you." Chapter 735. Bai Ye didn't want to talk to him. He walked past him and went to play with Shoushou. "As long as you say the word, I'm willing to be his follower." Zhang Xingyu saluted Gu Lingqing. "Aren't you awesome now that you're the head of the Imperial Guard? The president trusts you a lot." "Follower, who are you trying to fool?" Lin Shulan said sarcastically. Bai Ye looked at Zhang Xingyu. "Follow the president and do your best. Don't betray him again. The president is your brother. It's the same to be loyal to him." Zhang Xingyu wanted to say something but stopped. He scratched his head. I feel guilty too. I want to follow him since he's still alive. You make it sound nice. But the president doesn't want you anymore. Lin Shulan said sarcastically. He's the same. Gu Lingqing said these 3 words. Zhang Xingyu looked down. He felt guilty and looked at Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing had always been cold and callous. The way he looked at him was also very sharp and resolute. Zhang Xingyu lowered his head. Then, I'll go out first. If you're free, help me set up a tent by the lake. We'll go fishing later. Bai Yi said. Sure, I'll go right now. Zhang Xingyu smiled. When he saw that they weren't looking at him, his smile froze. Madam, you don't know. He's now the president's favorite. Lin Shulan complained. He's gentle and not overbearing. He's reliable and capable. No matter who he follows, he'll be popular. Personality determines fate. What about you? Do you still like him? Bai Yi asked. Lin Shulan's eyes turned red. I don't like him. Bai Yi smiled. You like him. If you want to get what you want, you have to face your feelings first. If you can't get what you want, give up. There will be someone more suitable for you. Like, hate, complain, and feel wronged. Life is short. It's a waste of youth and emotions. Lin Shulan lowered his head and cried. He didn't like me in the past. He definitely won't like me now. So, you're angry at him. You're angry at yourself. You're angry at him. You're angry at him because you don't want to be angry at yourself. You're to hurt his character and pull him down. In fact, whether he did anything wrong or not, a fine bird chooses its own nest. Everyone is fighting and paying for their own future. Bai Yi directly said what Lin Shulan was thinking. Lin Shulan stopped crying and looked at Bai Yi. When he met Bai Yi's indifferent gaze, he felt a little guilty. Let him go. Let yourself go. I'll teach you how to put on makeup these few days. There will be good boys by your side. My mom knows many good boys. She'll introduce them to you, Bai Yi comforted. Song Shiyu was coaxing Shosho. When she heard Bai Yi talking about her, she turned around and smiled at Lin Shulan. There are many tall and handsome boys in the Gu family. You're my goddaughter. They'll definitely fight for you. Lin Shulan sniffled and choked. I know. I give up. I give up on him. Since you've decided to love someone, love him wholeheartedly. Otherwise, you'll be hurting him. People who hurt others don't deserve to be happy, Bai Yi continued. Yes, I know. Thank you, madam, for your teachings, Lin Shulan nodded. You're a kind, dutiful, righteous, and loyal girl. You'll find a good man to be with. When Lin Shulan heard what Bai Yi said, he felt much better and relaxed. Previously, he felt like he was stuck in a dead end. He couldn't get what he wanted. He felt bad and inferior. He became even more bitter and mean, which made him a scary person. Isn't Hui Yi coming this afternoon? Song Shiyu asked. Bai Yi nodded. He'll come. Then I'll go out to buy groceries now. I'll cook for you tonight. Old madam, you can accompany young master and young master. I'll go out to buy groceries. It'll be quick, Lin Shulan said. That's good too. Thank you for your hard work. Song Shiyu couldn't bear to part with Shosho. Bai Yi and Gu Lingqing looked at each other. Now that Song Shiyu loved Shosho so much, Song Shiyu couldn't bear to let them leave. They went fishing. Why don't we bring Xiao Axane back? Bai Yi said to Gu Lingqing. It'll be good for him to accompany mom. Gu Lingqing held her hand. Where's Xiao Yan? Do you want to see him? We often talk about whether it's more important to raise a child or to teach them. Some people give birth but don't raise them, and some people give birth but don't teach them. Xiao Yan likes his adoptive parents more. Although they're just farmers, their love for him is real. So, Gu Lingqing looked at Bai Ye. We still have things to do. It's good to let Xiao Yan's adoptive parents take care of him. They might be ignorant, but at least they're kind. We can send teachers to help them. If one day, we come back and never leave again, we can bring Xiao Yan and his parents over. Speaking of life, what do you think? Gu Lingqing replied. I'll listen to you. Bai Ye smiled and hugged Gu Lingqing's arm. I felt very lonely when I was young. My parents are gone and I felt lonely too. It's only after I had you that I felt that I'm not the only person in this world. In the future, when you recover from your illness and stop taking medicine, we can have a few more children. Everything else is fake. The children will stay. In the future, after we leave, they can still discuss with each other and won't be helpless, okay? Gu Lingqing looked at her gently. Okay. After a while, they arrived at the lakeside. Zhang Xingyu had already set up the tent and set up the table, chair, stove, kettle, and cups. It looks like you were here a year ago. Bai Ye sighed. Gu Lingqing smiled and took her hand to sit on the chair. He put the bait on the hook and passed the fishing rod to Bai Ye. Bai Ye was fishing in the hole they had dug. At noon, the weather turned from cloudy to sunny. The sun was shining brightly and it felt warm on their bodies. Bai Ye's heart felt warm too. After a while, she felt a little sleepy. She leaned on Gu Lingqing's shoulder to sleep. He was here for everything anyway. 10 minutes later, she fell asleep. Gu Lingqing called her, Xiao Ye. Bai Ye opened her eyes and looked at him. Do you have fish? If you're tired, go to the tent and sleep for a while. I'll call you when the time comes, Gu Lingqing said. Okay, I'll sleep for a while. I'll sleep for an hour. Bai Ye was woken up. She felt a little dizzy and fell asleep after climbing into the tent. After Gu Lingqing caught 3 fish, he saw Xing Buhua's car. Xing Buhua's car stopped by the lake. He got out of the car and looked at Gu Lingqing. He smiled slightly. Where is she? Chapter 736. Xing Buhua looked at Gu Lingqing who was walking over. He couldn't help but feel a little nervous. He smiled. We'll leave in a few days. Thank you for your hard work, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. You really sound like a big brother when you talk. I'm the big brother, all right. Xing Buhua said with a smile. Gu Lingqing looked at Xing Buhua deeply. If I die, take care of her. Xing Buhua stopped smiling and looked at Gu Lingqing. You won't die. Don't talk nonsense. If you survive a disaster, you're bound to have good fortune later on. Gu Lingqing hesitated. In the end, he didn't say anything. He went back and continued fishing. Xing Buhua looked at Gu Lingqing in confusion. They were twins. He couldn't understand Gu Lingqing at all. Gu Lingqing's silence was infuriating. He sat next to Gu Lingqing. Ling Tong has been promoted to be the vice president. I've transferred your good brother, Su Changhao, over to your previous military base. I've been assigned to the Air Force. Do you want to see Su Changhao before you leave? Gu Lingqing shook his head. He's righteous. He's reliable. Xing Buhua smiled. If you need anything, remember to call me. I'll always be your support. Gu Lingqing looked at Xing Buhua. His eyes were deep. He then looked at Bai Ye. I'm worthy of the military and the country. The only person I owe now is her. I'm sorry. Xing Buhua patted Gu Lingqing's shoulder. What I want most now is for you and her to be happy. So, even if you die, she won't want me to take care of her. Otherwise, she would have let me take care of her long ago. So, don't let her live alone. She's too pitiful. I may not live long. Gu Lingqing said what he didn't say before. Don't talk nonsense. You'll get better. The bullet went through your head and you've come back to life. What else can't you get over? Xing Buhua said in a low voice. Don't even think about giving her to me. To be honest, I really felt that her determination to me from the beginning made me know that it was impossible to be with her. I loved her. I don't love him anymore, I only admire him. Bai closed his eyes and swallowed his bitterness. There was bitterness in his eyes, but he didn't open them. She knew that Gu Lingqing always had something on his mind, but he didn't say it. It turned out that he felt that he didn't have long to live. For him to say this, there must be something else that he was unwilling to say. He didn't want others to find out, and he had to bear the pain himself. Her heart ached. Gu Lingqing was so good, so good. If he had done a lot of wrong things in his previous life, he had done so many good things in this life. He should have paid off all his debts. Why did he have to suffer so much? Didn't Grandmaster Gu say that the end was the beginning? Was it not over yet? She didn't say anything because Gu Lingqing didn't want her to know. She pretended that she didn't know anything. Time passed. They didn't speak anymore. Gu Lingqing caught 2 more fish and Xing Buhua helped him. Bai opened the tent and looked at Xing Buhua. He smiled and said politely, "Hello, big brother." Xing Buhua smiled back. "Big brother, I want to see Shiniyan before I leave. Is that okay?" Bai asked. Xing Buhua nodded. "I'll arrange it when you want to see him. You'll let him go after a year, right?" Bai wanted to confirm. "Xiaoya, I don't want to lie to you. The situation now is very serious. If he still has ambitions, I'll be letting him go. After what happened previously, it's impossible for him to be the president. There's no need to be afraid. He can't be the president, but he can be behind the scenes. There are many people who are secretly his people. When he says something, he can save whoever he wants. If you let him go and he becomes an advisor one day, I'll come back and be your advisor. Let him go," Bai begged. "He's your friend's lover. I don't want you to be in a difficult position." Xing Buhua rejected tactfully. "As long as you're strong enough, you don't have to be afraid of the other party. If you're not strong enough, how can you achieve what you want?" Gu Lingqing said and looked at Xing Buhua. Xing Buhua looked at Gu Lingqing. "So, you also want me to let Shinian go?" Gu Lingqing nodded. "I understand. 1 year later, I'll find a chance to let him go," Xing Buhua compromised. For a moment, he felt that he had been deserted. Even the people closest to him didn't want to help him. He laughed bitterly. It didn't matter. Everything he had done was partly for their sake, so he would do as they wanted. "If anything happens to me, bury me beside my parents," Xing Buhua said to Gu Lingqing in a low voice. He didn't want to say anything else and walked towards the villa. Bai and Gu Lingqing were in a bad mood. She held Gu Lingqing's hand and looked up at Gu Lingqing. "I promise you, if Shiniyan really betrays us, I'll stand by Xing Buhua's side and protect him with my life. Because this is what we owe him." Gu Lingqing nodded and held her hand tightly. He took the bucket and went back to the villa with Bai. When Song Shiyu saw Bai coming in, she said happily, "Shosho is so easy to take care of. He fell asleep in my arms. He's still sleeping now. I've put him in your room. That girl called Xiao Xia is accompanying him." "Yeah, Shosho is also very popular in the base. Everyone wants to sleep with him. He's not shy with strangers and is very obedient most of the time, Baya explained. Then, sleep with me tonight, Song Shiyu said happily. Shosho needs to drink milk twice at night. I'm worried that mom's body won't be able to take it, Baya said. Just one day, not every day. Just one day. Song Shiyu made a one sign. She really wanted it. Baya and Gu Lingqing looked at each other and nodded. After dinner, Gu Lingqing wanted to accompany Baya to visit Shinian. Suddenly, he said that he wouldn't go. Baya didn't know what he was thinking, but he must have his reasons for not going. They still trusted each other. Then I'll go first. It's a bit far and I won't be back too early. You don't have to wait for me. Rest early, Baya said to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing nodded. Okay. She sat in Xing Buhua's car. She was a little worried about Gu Lingqing. She remembered that when she left, there was a pinhole camera installed at home. She didn't know if it could still be used or if it had been removed. She took out her phone and tried. The surveillance was actually still working. She immediately found Gu Lingqing. She saw that Gu Lingqing was wiping something with a napkin. Then, he took the napkin to the washroom and washed it away. She replayed the video and watched it over and over again. Her hands were shaking and she felt dizzy. No wonder he suddenly changed his mind when he said he would accompany her. It turned out that he was having a nosebleed. Chapter 737. The United States has sent out the news, but LV Bowie hasn't come out. Country A has also sent out the news, but LV Bowie hasn't shown up either. If he still doesn't show up, he's either dead, or he won't show up again, Xing Buhua said seriously. I must find him. Do you have secret research on the virus and the antidote? Baya asked, choking with sobs. Xing Buhua sensed something was wrong and turned to look at her. Baya's eyes became redder, but her gaze was firm. There seemed to be mist flowing in her eyes. Yes, what's wrong? Lingqing. Xing Buhua didn't want to think about it. I promised him that even if he's dead, I won't give up on myself. But I want to try my best, Baya said with a smile. Tears flowed down her cheeks. What's wrong with Lingqing? Xing Buhua asked seriously. He doesn't want us to know, so let's pretend we don't know, Baya said. After that, she couldn't control her emotions and cried. Xing Buhua felt sorry for her and silently handed her a tissue. Baya took the tissue and thought of the scene of Gu Lingqing wiping away the blood in the video. Her heart ached. When he was at the base, he never needed anyone to help him, nor did he need anyone's help, nor did he want to be a burden. He did everything by himself and even helped her take care of Shosho. He looked like a normal person. She knew that he had something on his mind, but she didn't know that it was because he was hiding his illness. It was no wonder that he often hid himself. She didn't want to burden him. She wanted to do what he wanted, but in the end, he was so sick, but she didn't know it. What are you going to do now? Xing Buhua asked. I don't have to find LV Bowie. LV Bowie was saved because he was the only one who knew where the biological weapon was. In other words, the person who can find the secret research organization is the one who wanted to know about the biological weapon. I just need to tell the public that the biological weapon is here. As long as I'm here, they will automatically come to me, Baya said rationally. It's too dangerous for you. There are too many people who want to get their hands on biochemical weapons, Xing Buhua said worriedly. I'm not afraid of danger. I'm not afraid of death. I'm just afraid that I can't be with him. If I die in front of him. Baya didn't continue. She was also afraid that Gu Lingqing would be sad and blame himself. She didn't want him to be sad, so she changed her words. I won't die. What they want is the biochemical weapon. If I die, they will have nothing. Are you willing to help me? Will you be able to escape unscathed after they get their hands on the biological weapons? Xing Buhua was worried. If LV Bowie can escape unscathed, I can too. No, Hua, this is my wish. It's also the most direct method I can think of. Can you help me? Baiya pleaded. Xing Buhua was silent as he looked at her reddened eyes. She looked so soft, yet so strong. His heart ached faintly, but he also understood that he had to help her. Otherwise, Ling Qing would definitely die. He couldn't let Ling Qing die. All right, I'll help you. I'm already secretly researching the antidote and the virus. I can give you the previous ones. I'm not afraid that they will harm the world after they get their hands on the biological weapons, Xing Buhua said in a low voice. Thank you, and I'm sorry, Baiya said while crying. You didn't do me wrong, and you don't have to thank me. This biological weapon was originally yours. However, if something happened to her, and Shinian betrayed them, she was also very worried about Xing Buhua's safety. Her feelings for him were very strange. It was a little less than love, but a little more than friendship. It was the third kind of feeling that they talked about. No, Hua, she called his name, but a lot of words were stuck in her throat, and she couldn't say them out. Xing Buhua smiled and said, Baiya, I don't love you anymore. I think I liked you before because you were too perfect. Your looks, your personality, your way of doing things, they were all what I imagined, so I was infatuated with you. It could also be that Ling Qing is dying, and I was afraid that you would be sad, so I used the Ling identity to love you. Qing's identity loves you. Now that Ling Qing has returned, I should also break away from this role. Baiya nodded. Thank you, no, Hua. You said a lot of thank you and sorry today, but you don't have to. Even if there is no love between you and me, there is still family between me and Ling Qing. I hope that his good mood is the same as yours. I will give you the antidote for the virus later. Keep it safe. I will always be your support. Xing Buhua said in a low voice. Things had not happened yet, but he had already predicted the danger that Baiya would encounter later. He had to protect them. The car continued to move forward. Baiya turned on the surveillance camera and continued to watch Gu Lingqing. He was already lying on the bed, putting ice on his head. The ice was very cold, and the skin would go numb in 3 minutes. However, Gu Lingqing thought that he was in a better state when she came back, so he had been putting ice on his head. When she saw that, her heart ached even more. She couldn't bear to look, but she was afraid that if she missed one more look, she would really miss one more look. She had never felt that time was so torturous. She was anxious to go to Gu Lingqing's side and take care of him. Finally, she made it to Shiniyan's side. Shiniyan was locked in the 3rd floor underground. The soldiers were guarding it layer by layer, and there was a gas chamber and a trap room. If anyone came to save him, he would be the first to die. Xing Buhua was very guarded against Shiniyan. She wanted Xing Buhua to let Shiniyan go, which was to make things difficult for him. However, Xing Buhua actually agreed. She felt even more guilty towards Xing Buhua. Perhaps, the decision in the next second was wrong, but she wanted to do it. The soldiers opened the door of the room where Shiniyan was locked. Shiniyan sat in front of the desk with his back to them, reading a book elegantly. The life of imprisonment did not make him decadent. Instead, it made him more calm and introverted. Baiya couldn't help thinking of Liu, a historical figure in a certain country. He was also a king of a generation, with outstanding charm, literary talent, and poetry. No one could match him. He was defeated by the Song Kingdom and lived in seclusion for 3 years. But he wrote the famous Beauty You. When will the spring flowers and autumn moon be over? How much of the past is known? Last night, the east wind blew, and the old country was unbearable to look back. The carved railings and jade walls should still be there, but the vermilion has changed. How much worry can a man have, just like the spring water flowing east? Shen Yen, Baiya shouted. Shen Yen's body froze. He turned around and looked at Baiya in surprise. He smiled and said, "Long time no see." Baiya walked to Shen Yen and looked at him. He didn't lose weight, nor did he gain weight. He still maintained the same figure as before. Between his brows, he was high-spirited and unparalleled. He was still the Shen Yen she knew. "How long have you been in this place?" Baiya asked. Shen Yen looked at the calendar on the wall. "It should be 7 months and 3 days. Let me guess, you can't be with Xing Buhua. So, the only possibility that you are still alive is that Gu Lingqing is also alive." Chapter 738. Can I correct you? She is the only one I have succeeded in so far, and she is also the one I want, Shen Yen said with a smile. Baiya was stunned. She looked at his bright face and asked, "Are you really willing to leave your position?" "I didn't want to be the president in the first place, but I had to do it for the benefit of the people behind my family. When I was the president, I married someone I didn't want to marry and hurt the person I love. Do you think Lu Shuang is suitable to be the president's wife? She will have no freedom and will be unhappy every day. She will also be under pressure because the pressure will drive her crazy," Shen Yen explained. "I don't think Hua is following your old path. Is he going to marry the daughter of the Xiong family?" Shen Yen guessed. "Nothing can hide from your eyes. Do you have any good suggestions?" Baiya asked. "There are 3 daughters in the Xiong family. The eldest daughter is already married. The second daughter is a social butterfly. To put it bluntly, she is a public transport. If Xing Buhua marries her, he can wear 1,000 cuckolds. The third daughter is arrogant, barbaric and ruthless. When one of the maids did something wrong, she cut the maid's hand. When one of the maids did something wrong, she put the maid's hand into boiling oil," Shen Yen said calmly. "So, these 3 girls are not suitable." Baiya frowned. She was even more worried about Xing Buhua and felt even more guilty. "Yes, I thought about the Xiong family when I wanted to form an alliance through marriage. But I can't flatter these 3 girls, so I chose the Hua family, which was on the decline at that time. However, if Xing Buhua really wants an alliance through marriage, there is one girl who is suitable. I also considered her at that time," Shen Yen said thoughtfully. "Who?" "The eldest daughter of the Xiong family gave birth to a daughter when she was 18. But the other party's family was poor. Due to various reasons, they didn't get together and married a rich man. This daughter stayed with her father. Do you want Hua to marry the daughter of the eldest daughter?" Baiya is worried. Will the Xiong family acknowledge this child? Her father was sick and she didn't want to leave him. She stayed by his side and worked hard to support the family. At that time, when I looked for her, her father was seriously ill. I promised to give her money. She said that her father was seriously ill and that if I helped her because of him, I wouldn't be able to help her. If he left for money, his illness would only worsen. Now that more than 3 years have passed, her father should have passed away. It sounds like this girl is quite strong and has a good character." Baiya pondered. The eldest daughter of the Xiong family has always felt guilty towards her younger daughter. The problem is, when her father was seriously ill and needed money, she didn't return to the Xiong family. Now that her father is dead, she probably won't return to the Xiong family. It's up to you to convince her," Shen Yen suggested. "Thank you, Shen Yen. If it wasn't for Xing Buhua, your position would be stable and you could still be with Lu Shuang." Shen Yen smiled. "There are no ifs in this world. When you are in a high position, all you want to do is not let yourself fall. It's too stressful. When I was in power, I didn't rest more than a month. I worked overtime almost every day and I only slept for more than 6 hours. Since Xing Buhua is in such a high position, he will bear all these responsibilities. He promised me that he will let you go after a year and treat Lu Shuang well, Bai said gently. If you died, I think I would be imprisoned until I die. But if you come back, I will definitely be released. I'm betting that you are still alive. Shen Yiyan smiled. After you get out, can you not go against Xing Buhua? Bai asked worriedly. After I get out, I will pick up Lu Shuang and go to country X. I will change my identity and live a commoner's life. Power and influence are not what I want. I will leave them to those who want them. A new prime minister replaces the old prime minister, and a new emperor replaces the old emperor. It's easy to attack a city, but difficult to defend it. Those who have been separated know best, Shen Yiyan said calmly. She had wanted to hypnotize Shen Yiyan. Whether he was acting or not, his micro-expressions, his eyes, and his words had touched her and convinced her. She didn't do it. Let's endure for a while. After all, it will take time for you to escape. Shen Yiyan nodded. Help me see Lu Shuang. I miss him very much. Bai nodded. Okay. I will leave first. Take care. Take care, Shen Yiyan said. Bai turned around and walked out of the room. She felt a little more relaxed than when she came in. As long as Shen Yiyan and Xing Buhua didn't become enemies, everything in the future was still beautiful. As long as she could cure Gu Lingqing. When she reached the ground, Xing Buhua gave her a box. Everything is inside. Do you need me to hide it in the original place? Help me hide it in a place. I will write the address for you. Destroy it after you read it, Bai said. She took out a notebook, wrote the address on the paper and passed it to Xing Buhua. Xing Buhua destroyed it as soon as he saw it. I will release the news after I let these things go. The sooner the better. I am worried about Lingqing's situation. Also, I may be arrested. Don't worry about me. Take care of Lingqing. I know what to do. It's best not to let Lingqing know about this. I am afraid that he will feel guilty and blame himself. He is too responsible, Bai said. Xing Buhua nodded. Also, Shen Yiyan said, I know the content of your conversation. Xing Buhua interrupted Bai. Even if Shen Yiyan is acting, I will let him go according to the agreement. Are you going to marry the girl he mentioned? Bai asked softly. Xing Buhua nodded. He is right. The 3 daughters of the Xiang family are not good. But I have promised to marry the youngest daughter. No. Bai felt that it was not worth it. Think twice. Xing Buhua nodded. Go back. It's late. Please take care of Lingqing. Okay. When Bai returned home, it was already 12 p.m. She looked at Gu Lingqing on the bed. He had removed the ice pack and seemed to be asleep. She knew that he was not asleep. She didn't say anything. She went to the bathroom and took a shower. She lay down beside him and put her hand on his warm body. Lingqing, I love you, Bai said in a hoarse voice. Gu Lingqing held her hand and turned over to face her. But he didn't open his eyes. Bai snuggled into his arms. She took a deep breath and smelled the familiar scent on his body. Let's not give up on the future. Besides grasping today, we have to take care of ourselves. The longer we live, the longer we can be together. Gu Lingqing's Adam's apple moved. He opened his eyes. He was determined and focused. What if I become someone you don't like in order to live? Chapter 739. I know. Go to sleep, it's late, Gu Lingqing said gently. Bai smiled. Okay. She didn't sleep well at night. She was afraid that he would leave, afraid that something would happen to him. She woke up a few times and only went back to sleep when she saw him lying beside her. In the morning, when he woke up, she woke up with a start and looked at him. Morning. Gu Lingqing's face was pale. He nodded and rushed into the washroom. Bai Yi heard the strange water pouring and her whole body trembled. Her heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. But she didn't dare to look, afraid that she would break down if she saw it. But if she didn't look, she was worried that something had happened to Gu Lingqing and she didn't know. She walked to the washroom slowly. Her legs were weak and every step was as heavy as gold. Finally, she reached the door of the washroom. She paused and hesitated. Just as she was about to open the door, Gu Lingqing opened it. He smiled at her and gave her the washroom. Bai Yi watched as he prepared the toothpaste for her. She looked at the dustbin. There didn't seem to be anything strange. She opened the toilet and saw the unflushed toilet paper with blood stains on it. She felt that it was hard to breathe. She couldn't let this go on. Gu Lingqing deliberately hid his illness and didn't seek treatment. His condition would worsen. She quickly brushed her teeth and washed her face. She opened the door and went out. He was wearing his clothes. She walked in front of him and helped him button up. Lingqing, there's something you might not know. When you were not around, I installed a pinhole camera at home. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply and stroked her hair. Don't worry about me. I'm not worried. Everyone will die one day. I just feel heartache. Even if you're dead, my heart will still hurt when I think of you. I will definitely save you. It's just a little nosebleed. It's not a big deal. How long has it been bleeding? Bai Yi asked. Coincidentally. Coincidence. Bai Yi was a little angry and pushed Gu Lingqing away. You're still lying to me. Gu Lingqing reached out and hugged her. He pressed the back of her head against his chest and said in a low voice, I'll be fine. Trust me. Bai Yi didn't want to lose her temper. It was useless. Not only could she not solve the problem firmly, she would also hurt the person she loved. He said it would be fine, but she didn't believe him. Let's go back to the base first. No matter what, we have to stop the bleeding first. It's definitely not good to keep having nosebleeds, Bai Yi said. Gu Lingqing's eyes darkened as he nodded. Let's go say goodbye to Mom, Bai Yi said, holding his hand and walking out. Song Shiyu had already prepared breakfast. Seeing them come out hand in hand, she was very happy. It's time for breakfast. I've made your favorite food. Gu Lingqing and Bai Yi ate quietly, no one spoke. The room was filled with Shosho's babbling. It was very lively. Bai Yi looked at Shosho. She didn't want him to lose his father so soon. Thinking of Gu Lingqing's condition, she felt sad and couldn't eat anymore. Gu Lingqing held her hand and looked at her gently. Her eyes were full of love. She didn't blame him for hiding it. She just felt sorry for him. I'll tell Mom later, Bai Yi said. Gu Lingqing closed his eyes. After breakfast, Song Shiyu was busy in the kitchen. Bai Yi followed him into the kitchen and helped Song Shiyu. Just leave it. I'll do these. Song Shiyu smiled. Mom, we're leaving today, Bai Yi said. Song Shiyu paused. Why? Isn't it good at home? It's not that. It's good. We've always wanted to come back. It's just that Lingqing's condition isn't completely cured yet. We still have to go to the doctor, Bai Yi told the truth. Song Shiyu understood. It's more important to go to the doctor. Where are you going to the doctor? Can I go to see you? We're at the base. If you miss us, you can tell Buhua. He knows where we are, Bai Yi said. Oh, what about Shosho? Are you taking Shosho with you? Song Shiyu said reluctantly. I've discussed it with Ling Qing. Xiao Yan is being taken care of by his foster parents, but Xiao Axayan needs you to take care of him. I'll have to trouble you to take care of Xiao Axayan, Baya said. We're family. There's no trouble. It's good that Xiao Axayan is with me. Remember to call us often. Don't disappear for more than a year like before. Okay, we'll call you often, Baya promised. Song Shiyu knew that she couldn't stop them even if she wanted to. You're all sensible children. If you weren't forced to, you wouldn't have chosen to leave. All I can do is support you. Thank you, Mom. Baya was touched. She hugged Song Shiyu. I've never had motherly love since I was young. It's you who made me feel motherly love. Song Shiyu hugged Baya too. If only I didn't oppose you and Ling Qing back then. I don't blame you. It's fate. Mom, let's go. I'll take good care of Ling Qing, Baya said with teary eyes. I believe in you. Song Shiyu patted Baya's back. Baya came out of the kitchen. His phone rang. It was Gu Ling Qing. She was surprised. She looked around for Gu Ling Qing but didn't see him. She picked up the phone. She had a bad feeling. Ling Qing, where are you? Xiaoya, I'll text you later, Gu Ling Qing said and hung up. Baya asked Lin Shulan anxiously. Where's Gu Ling Qing? Where did he go? Lin Shulan was confused. He went out. I think he was with Zhang Xingyu. Baya didn't even have time to put on a coat. She rushed out of the door. Gu Ling Qing was nowhere to be seen. She called Zhang Xingyu. Zhang Xingyu hung up. Baya was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. She wanted to call Xing Buhua. Gu Ling Qing had sent her a text. She opened it immediately. No, Hu called me last night and told me what you were going to do. Baya was anxious. She called Gu Ling Qing. Gu Ling Qing also hung up. She had no choice but to send a text to Gu Ling Qing. We promised that no matter what happens, we'll face it together. I don't need my woman to take risks for me. Stay at home and wait for me to come back, Gu Ling Qing said simply. Baya was so anxious that her brain was burning. Gu Ling Qing, don't leave me, okay? She waited for a minute. Gu Ling Qing didn't answer her. She called Gu Ling Qing, but his phone was turned off. Baya was so angry that she smashed the phone on the floor. You're always like this. You always insist on doing things your own way. Gu Ling Qing, I don't want you anymore. I don't want you anymore. After shouting, she picked up the phone with the broken screen and made a call. Xing Buhua answered the call. Chapter 740. I've discussed it with him. I don't think you should be responsible for this. Gu Ling Qing is the only one who can hand over the biological weapon and escape unscathed, Xing Buhua said. How can he escape unscathed? If he hands over the biological weapon, will those people let him go? They can't, Baya said anxiously. I'll do everything in my power to protect him. Then protect him. Why let him go alone? Do you know how much trouble he'll be in if he goes alone? Previously, LV Bowie had already escaped. This time, they wouldn't let LV Bowie escape so easily. Were they going to watch him die? If he dies like this, I'd rather stay with him for another year and watch him die of illness. Xing Buhua, why did you tell him? Why did you tell him? We had a good agreement. Why did you do this? Baya was very upset. Baya, be rational. I also wanted to find someone from the special forces to do it, but Ling Qing didn't agree. He said that it's life. His life isn't more precious than others. So, he values other people's lives more than his own. Do you think he'll use a biological weapon that will endanger the entire human race in exchange for his own life? No, he won't do that, Baiya said with certainty. His eyes were red. Xing Buhua suddenly understood. Wait a minute. He hung up immediately and called Zhang Xingyu. Zhang Xingyu's phone was switched off. He called Gu Lingqing, but Gu Lingqing's phone was also switched off. He called his people and ordered, activate the third eye immediately and find Gu Lingqing and Zhang Xingyu. He had just hung up when Baiya called again. Xing Buhua picked up the call and said guiltily, I'm sorry, Baiya. I don't know Lingqing as well as you do. I can't get through to Lingqing now. I can't even get through to Zhang Xingyu. Baiya was breathing heavily. He was so angry that he couldn't say a word. Could she blame Xing Buhua? What's the use of blaming him? Could she ask Xing Buhua for help? The third eye originally belonged to Gu Lingqing. She didn't think that Xing Buhua could find Gu Lingqing through the third eye. After all, the third eye had an account, which only Gu Lingqing knew. Just a phone call from him could cause the heavenly eye to collapse temporarily. She hung up the phone and squatted on the ground. The more she thought about it, the angrier she got. The more she thought about it, the more wronged she felt. But most of all, she was worried. She just squatted and didn't move. Lin Shulan was worried about Baiya. He came over with a down jacket and put it on Baiya. He asked in confusion, Madam, what happened? Baiya buried her face between her knees and didn't want to speak. Lin Shulan accompanied her. From morning to noon, Baiya was still squatting like this. Madam, your feet will go numb if you squat like this, Lin Shulan said worriedly. Her feet had gone numb long ago. She couldn't move. But compared with the turbulent waves in her head, it was nothing. Gu Lingqing had abandoned her just like that. He had abandoned her, right? Was it because she had been waiting for him, so he had no fear? Just like this, he just left without saying a word. After a few words, he resolutely turned off the phone. Didn't he consider her feelings? Wasn't he afraid that she would be worried? Baiya stood up. Her feet were so numb that she couldn't stand. Lin Shulan immediately supported Baiya. Baiya staggered forward step by step. She had an urge to rebel. She wanted to live as she pleased, just like them. She sat down on a chair by the lake. Lin Shulan knocked on Baiya's legs to let the blood flow so that her feet wouldn't go numb. Baiya looked at the lake. Her chest was still moving up and down. She picked up her phone and sent a text message to Gu Lingqing. I'll give you 24 hours. Come back in 24 hours. I'll pretend nothing happened today. No matter what happens, we'll face it together. After 24 hours, we'll get a divorce. I'll remarry within a week. From now on, it has nothing to do with me. Don't forget, I can hypnotize myself. I mean what I say. Shulan, go back. Take good care of my mom and Shosho, Baiya said in a low voice. Lin Shulan was worried about Baiya's current state. Madam, it's noon. We should go back for lunch. Baiya glanced at her. Are you not going to listen to me? Madam, don't scare me. I'm worried that something might happen to you. Lin Shulan's eyes were red. Baiya looked at her. Her face was ruined because of her. Baiya blamed herself in her heart. She sighed softly. I'm fine. I just want to be alone to think calmly. You can go back first. Then, Madam, remember to call me if anything happens, Lin Shulan said worriedly. Baiya nodded. Lin Shulan went back this time. Baiya just sat there. She looked at her phone every minute. She looked at her phone every minute. She looked at her phone for an hour. She felt like she was going crazy. She resisted the urge to look at her phone. However, she did not give up. She still wanted to see if there were any messages from Gu Lingqing. There were still no messages. Her phone rang. Her hope was ignited. She saw that it was Xing Buhua's caller ID. Her eyes dimmed again. She could not hide her disappointment. She picked up the call, hoping that there was good news from Xing Buhua. Xiaoya, Lingqing paralyzed the Heavenly Eye. Do you know the account and password of the Heavenly Eye? Xing Buhua asked. Bai Ye's heart sank. She knew that Gu Lingqing had the ability to paralyze the Heavenly Eye. But when she really heard the news, it was as if a bucket of ice water had been poured over her head. He was really so heartless. Did he not want to be found by them even if he died? She was so dispensable in his eyes. How could he abandon and give up on her so easily? For the so-called hatred of his parents, he abandoned his promise to her. Now, for the sake of the world, he abandoned his promise to her again. Why had she persevered for so many years? Why had she protected him for so many years? What was she in his eyes? What he had left her was an endless weight. She could give up everything for him. He could give up on her for something else. Was he too compassionate or was she too narrow-minded? She did not want to wait any longer. The longer she waited, the more aggrieved she felt. Even the sadness she was feeling now became the strength of her anger. She hung up and sent another message to Gu Lingqing. I'm serious. If you don't come back in 24 hours, I'll cut off all ties with you. I won't wait for you anymore. I won't love you anymore. I'll cut you out of my heart. I won't leave any space for you anymore. Do you understand? Still, no one answered her. All right, she would wait for the last time. The sun set and the sky darkened. Lin Shulan looked for her a few times. Seeing that she was in a daze, he did not want to disturb her. Song Shiyu came over personally and sat beside her. Chapter 741. Actually, he won't come back, right? Bai Ye asked softly. Lingqing knew what he wanted since he was young and he would walk the path that he wanted. Actually, he didn't have to work so hard. His father could have saved him 10 years of hard work. But he wasn't willing and stubbornly followed his own path. He started as a special forces soldier and became a general, Song Shiyu said. He has always been stubborn. He only listens to himself and doesn't care about what others think. He doesn't care whether it's right or wrong. He's responsible to his friends, to the military, to the country and to the world. He only owes his family and his lover, Bai Ye said angrily. Maybe to him, family and lover are a part of him. So we deserve to be abandoned by him. Bai Ye's eyes turned red again. They were red like blood. Song Shiyu held Bai Ye's hand. I understand why you're angry. You waited for him for so long. He left because he didn't want you to worry. He left not because he didn't want me to worry but because he was afraid that I would use the biochemical weapon to exchange for his life. As long as he left, we wouldn't be able to find him and I wouldn't use the biochemical weapon to exchange for his life. He was responsible for the world. He's such a righteous child. Since he was young, he didn't want to accept what his family gave him and he didn't want to steal from others. Even when he was promoted, he did it step by step. He could have been the president but he didn't want to. He supported Shen Yin. Forgive him, Song Shiyu said. I won't forgive him. If he can abandon me so easily, he doesn't deserve my love. He loves the world, but the world might not know. He doesn't love me, but I know, Bai Ye said resolutely, tears flowing down her cheeks. Song Shiyu knew that Bai Ye had been wrong this time. Maybe this is the fate of us women. Women want small relationships but men want more than we can imagine, Song Shiyu said helplessly. It's just that what Gu Lingqing and Gu Tianhang want is not something we can give them, Baiya said coldly. Do you still remember what you said to me when you were kidnapped by Tianheng 7 years ago? You said, what a woman wants is a man's care and love. If there is no love in a marriage, it will be the grave. I suffered for a long time because of what you said, because I knew that Tianheng didn't marry me because he loved me. After that, I didn't feel any love from him. But, didn't I live my life like that? Song Shiyu said softly. People only live once. My mother, because of her obsession with love, she went crazy her whole life. Even when she died, that man didn't even turn back to look at her. I don't want to live like that for the rest of my life. I promised him that I wouldn't give up on myself, but every time I think about how he abandoned me, I feel terrible. Someone was going to explode. In the past, I have always lived for others. This is the last time I will wait for him. After this, I will only live for myself, Baiya said resolutely. Okay, Mom supports you, Song Shiyu said with a choked voice. Baiya calmed down. She felt that she shouldn't lose her temper with Song Shiyu. Song Shiyu should be feeling worse than her. I'm sorry, Mom. I was too emotional. You are still young and there is still hope. I only realized it very late. I have lived my life in vain, but I can't change it. I can't turn back time. I can see your obsession with Ling Qing and how well you treat him. Unfortunately, their ambitions are not in love. Xiaoya, Mom. I want you to be happy. I want you to be happy, Song Shiyu said with sincerity. Baiya's heart still hurt. Let me wait for him one last time. Okay, but not here. It will be colder here at night. Your knees and joints won't be able to take it. Don't get sick. Don't you want to live for yourself? Baiya knew that Song Shiyu cared about her. She didn't want to make the people who cared about her sad. She stood up and followed Song Shiyu back. Shosho had fallen asleep under the care of Xia. I'll heat up the food for you, Song Shiyu said and went to the room. Baiya looked at Song Shiyu's back. In fact, Song Shiyu did better than her. She could control her emotions better than her. She couldn't be so calm and take care of others in sadness. Her eyes were full of water vapor. The water vapor condensed and turned into tears. Song Shiyu came out and put the hot food in front of her. She smiled and said, "Eat first. Don't starve your stomach." For a moment, she was a little soft-hearted. A thought flashed through her mind. Why not live with Shosho and Song Shiyu like this, without any desire? But her heart was too tight. She was very unwilling. As long as she thought of what happened today, her emotions would suddenly collapse. She had a mental illness. If her mental illness relapsed again, it would be more serious than the previous situation, and it would be more difficult to cure. She was very afraid that she would force her mental illness to relapse. While she was suffering, she would hurt others. And the people she would hurt were not strangers, but people who cared about her. She lowered her head and ate the food, but she couldn't eat it. She ate a few mouthfuls randomly. Mom, go to sleep. I'll wait for him to come back. You should sleep early too. If he comes back, she will see him as soon as she wakes up. Song Shiyu said. Okay. Baiya answered. Song Shiyu looked at her worriedly and went back to the room to sleep. She couldn't sleep at all. Even if she had a terrible headache, she still couldn't sleep. She sat on the sofa and waited for Gu Lingqing to come back. It was not until 5:30 a.m. that Song Shiyu had already woken up. Seeing that Baiya was still sitting on the sofa, she said worriedly, "You've been sitting for the whole night. Hurry up and go to sleep. I'll watch. When Lingqing comes back, I'll call you immediately." Baiya's eyes were extremely dry. She looked at Song Shiyu weakly. I said that I would give him 24 hours. There are still 3 hours. I can wait. You silly child. If he comes back, he won't let you wait for even an hour. Song Shiyu told the truth cruelly. She didn't want her to be too tired. Baiya knew, but in her heart, she was angry. She carried the last bit of hope and gave herself one last chance. If he didn't come back in 3 hours, she wouldn't wait anymore. Really, she wouldn't wait anymore. Song Shiyu saw that Baiya was stubborn. She sighed and went into the kitchen to make breakfast. After an hour, Shosho woke up. Xiao Xia brought him down. When he saw Baiya, he wanted to hug her. Baiya didn't move. She glanced at Shosho with a complicated gaze. She lowered her eyes and tears flowed down her cheeks. If Gu Lingqing didn't come back this time, she would definitely break down and go crazy. Chapter 742. Instead of dying in madness like her mother, she would rather end her own life. But after it ended, she still had nothing. There was no love waiting for her, there was no place she wanted to go. Perhaps, the best way was to hypnotize herself. She had hypnotized herself once, so she should be able to do it again. This time, she wanted to forget about Gu Lingqing, everything related to Gu Lingqing, including Shosho. Only by ending the source of her pain, could she stop feeling sad. Xiao Xia saw that something was wrong with Baiya, so she brought Shosho to the room to play. As time passed, she stared at the clock on the wall like a statue, unable to hear anyone. Song Shiyu looked at Baiya and felt sorry for her. She walked to Baiya again. Don't wait anymore, child. It's almost 12 o'clock. You didn't eat for the whole day yesterday, and you didn't sleep for the whole night. Your body won't be able to take it. Baiya looked at the clock on the wall slowly. It was 11:50. She had waited for more than 26 hours. He really wasn't coming back. He was abandoning her, abandoning Shosho, abandoning his mother. He was so decisive. Baiya stood up slowly, clutching her heart. Her heart was hurting. Perhaps because she did not sleep, her feet felt light when she stepped on the ground. Xiaoya, eat something before you sleep. Song Shiyu said gently. Baiya shook her head and did not say anything. She climbed the stairs weakly. Song Shiyu was really afraid that she would fall and looked at her worriedly. She did not look at anyone. She walked into her room and closed the door. She climbed onto the bed and closed her eyes. The pain in her heart did not seem to belong to her. She forced herself not to think about anything and fell asleep. However, she did not sleep well. The pain woke her up every few minutes. The pain was so unbearable that she felt like she was going to explode. She slept and woke up. When she woke up, it was already 17 hours later. She went to the bathroom to brush her teeth and took a shower. You're awake, Song Shiyu said with a smile. Her cold gaze swept across the room. Where's Gu Lingqing? Song Shiyu's smile froze, and he began to stutter. She was a psychologist. Song Shiyu's expression had already told her the answer. In fact, he had known about it long ago. Therefore, when he was sure that Gu Lingqing had not returned, he could remain as indifferent as water. Mom, I'm hungry, Baiya said as she sat at the dining table. I'll prepare breakfast for you right away, Song Shiyu said hurriedly and went to the kitchen. Not long after, he brought out the century egg and lean meat congee, as well as fried dough sticks and eggs. Song Shiyu sat opposite her and comforted her. Lingqing is a child who knows what he is doing. I believe he will come back one day. Baiya lowered her head and ate her breakfast. We just have to wait patiently. If you're still unhappy, I can accompany you on a trip. You, I, and Shosho, Xiao Xia, and Shu Lan will go out together, Song Shiyu continued. Baiya still did not say anything and ate her breakfast seriously. Song Shiyu did not know what to say at that moment. Such a cold Baiya made her feel a little uneasy. 10 minutes later, Baiya finished her breakfast. She put down her chopsticks and looked up at Song Shiyu. "Mom," Baiya shouted. Song Shiyu had a bad feeling. Her nose was dry. "Hey. I'm not going to wait anymore," Baiya said calmly without much emotion. "All right, let's not wait anymore. We'll just live together in the future," Song Shiyu said, following Baiya's words. "Yesterday, when I was waiting for him, I thought about a lot and recalled a lot. He wants to rule the country and bring peace to the world. I just want a little love. When our values and outlook on life are different, we'll feel wronged, sad, quarreled, and angry. We'll always be in hot water," Baiya said softly. He said, "Mommy has been through this. I understand." Song Shiyu's eyes were moist. Baiya curled her lips slightly. "I can't live a carefree life. I'll feel wronged every day I wait for him. When the grievances accumulate to a certain extent, they'll turn into resentment. I'll be so worried that I'll become paranoid and crazy. I even want to give up on myself to release it. I want Gu Lingqing to regret what he did yesterday. I want to make him regret what he did yesterday." Song Shiyu wiped her tears. "You're a rational and good child. But I still feel wronged. He can let go of everything easily. I want to let go of everything too." Song Shiyu became nervous. "Xiaoya, what do you want to do? You still have Xiaoyan. Shosho, don't do anything stupid." "Mom, there are gains and losses when there are gains and losses when there are gains. With a mother who's in a bad state of mind, Shosho will grow up in a bad environment. He'll be influenced by his mother. Just like how I've always been influenced by my mother, I'm prone to depression and mental breakdown. I'm even more prone to mental breakdown and extreme." Baiya explained. "Xiaoya, you're still young. Everything will get better," Song Shiyu said worriedly. "I want to leave. Maybe I won't come back for the rest of my life," Baiya said softly. Song Shiyu burst into tears. "Lingqing just left and you want to leave too? Why can all of you be so heartless? Tianheng is like that, Lingqing is like that, and you are like that too. This is how the world is. Those who are hurt are always sentimental. Believe me, if I stay, every day will be torture for all of you," Baiya said. She knew herself. If she stayed, she would go crazy one day. When she went crazy, she would become a burden to them like her mother. "You've made up your mind, haven't you?" Song Shiyu asked. "Shosho, I'll leave it to you. What if Lingqing comes back one day? Where should we go to find you?" Song Shiyu asked with teary eyes. "Even if he comes back, don't look for me. Even if he comes back, I won't forgive him. Once, twice, 3 or 4 times. I don't have such a strong heart. What I want is just a little love, a happy and ordinary life with my husband's sincere company." Baiya was determined. She said resolutely. "What if Shosho misses you?" There were waves in Baiya's eyes. They were dark like the dragon scales on the body of a black dragon. They shone with water and became deeper. "Just tell him that I'm dead. Will Shosho hate you?" Song Shiyu was still making the last effort. "Mom, believe me. If I stay, Shosho will hate me." Baiya frowned. Her eyes were red. "What's wrong?" Song Shiyu asked worriedly. Baiya could feel that Song Shiyu treated her well. However, she couldn't bear Gu Lingqing's departure. As a psychologist, she knew very well that her emotions had reached the tipping point. Every day in the future, she would suffer from insomnia and pain. She couldn't get over it. She wouldn't be like herself anymore. I've made up my mind, Baya said resolutely. She stood up and went back to her room to pack her luggage. Hello, I'm Chin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. Chapter 743. Song Shiyu knew that Baya and Gu Lingqing were the same kind of people. Once they decided on something, no matter what others said, it would be useless. Because they were actually more rational and smarter than anyone else. They could see the development, jump out of the current situation and see something different. She entered Baya's room and reminded her, after you leave this time, remember to take care of yourself. Everything else belongs to others, only your body belongs to you. Mom, take care of yourself too, Baya said sincerely. I will take good care of Shosho. Don't worry, when you are tired of wandering, I will wait for you to come back, Song Shiyu said as her eyes turned red. She turned her face away and wiped her eyes. Tears streamed out of Baya's room. Baya looked at the direction where Song Shiyu disappeared and tears streamed down her face quietly. She would never come back again. She would never come back again. Even if Gu Lingqing came back alive, she would never come back. She was very tired. A relationship had used up all her energy and even her will. She had done everything, but in the end, the blow was devastating. She did not say goodbye to Shosho, Xiaoxia, and Lin Shulan. She took her luggage and left. She went to look for Su Changhe. Su Changhe and Su Jiao got married. Su Jiao was 6 months pregnant and was resting at home. Su Changhe was surprised to see Baya. Where have you been? Your phone has been switched off. You didn't even come to my wedding. Baya smiled. I'm sorry. Too many things happened before, so I went into hiding. Is the current president your husband? Or is he your husband's brother? Su Changhe asked curiously. It's Gu Lingqing's elder brother. Senior brother, is there any kind of surgery in America that can remove part of one's memory? Baya asked seriously. As far as I know, they've been researching it, but they've never succeeded. The structure of the brain is very complicated. It can repair cells and nerves. It can make a person lose his memory completely, but not part of it. However, hypnotists can hypnotize a person's subconscious and achieve partial hypnosis. You know the effect of hypnosis better than me, Su Changhe asked in confusion. But using the subconscious to hypnotize is too unstable. Once a gap is opened in the memory, the hypnotized will swarm in. It's not a long-term solution, Baya pondered and said. Who do you want to hypnotize? Su Changhe asked. Since Baya came to him, he didn't want to hide it. I'll do it myself. Su Changhe was stunned. Hypnotizing yourself is 100 times more difficult than hypnotizing an ordinary person because the subconscious will reject it. That's why I need your help. In this aspect, you're the best in the industry. My level of hypnosis is not as good as yours. I'm not confident that I can do it well, Su Changhe said worriedly. After I take the medicine, you'll assist me outside. I'll also try my best to hypnotize myself. I don't know if I can do it, but if I don't do it, I definitely can't do it, right? Baya said while thinking. Which memory do you want to hypnotize? Baya lowered his eyes. His gaze was deep, like the moonlight on the lake in winter, bright and clear. Everything about Gu Lingqing. Why? Don't you love him very much? Su Changhe was even more confused. It's the most painful thing to want and love but can't get. I don't want to suffer anymore. From the day he left, he's not worth my weight anymore, Baya said with certainty. It's not your style to give up easily. That's because I know that if I don't give up, I'll only hurt myself more. Senior brother, it's been 10 years. I was 21 that year, and I'm already 31 this year. I don't know how many more decades I have to wait. Maybe, it's my whole life. If he loves me, I'll wait for my whole life. But, it's him who doesn't love me. He can easily give up being with me. Why should I keep waiting for him? I don't want to wait. I don't want to be like Song Shiyu, who wasted his life and didn't get emotional peace until his death, Baiya said emotionally. Will you fall in love again after you forget him? Yes, Baiya answered firmly. Since you've decided to fall in love again, there's no need for hypnosis, Su Changhe said softly. He knew a lot about Baiya, so his heart ached for her. Baiya smiled bitterly. Without hypnosis, I can't give up on him. He used to be in my heart, fused with my flesh and blood. Because of the unwillingness and resentment in my heart, I want to dig my heart out and throw him away at any moment. But after my heart is dug out, I will die. If I die, where will I go? I don't want to live a life of pain, despair, and sadness every day. One day, I'll break down. So, I can only hypnotize you. Senior brother, help me. Help me never remember him again. I'll try my best. Baiya, have you really thought it through? Su Changhe asked at the end. No, I've thought it through. This is the best way. I don't have to worry about whether he's alive or dead. Where did he go? How important are the children and I in his heart? From now on, Baiya will be reborn from nirvana. She won't be for others, but only for herself. I'll be like what Master Guffaw said. I'll laugh and watch. Baiya said with tears in her eyes. If the first hypnosis doesn't work, I'll do it a second time. If the second time doesn't work, I'll do it a third time. If the third time doesn't work, I'll repeat it countless times. Su Changhe knew that Baiya had made up her mind. When do you plan to start? Today, right now. Baiya confirmed. She took out the medicine from her bag. Give me a glass of water. Su Changhe poured a glass of water for her. Baiya took the medicine, lay on the space chair, and closed her eyes. In fact, she was still unwilling, but she was on the verge of a mental breakdown. Everything will end here. Half a year later, at a press conference in America. Someone asked me what's the difference between a man's brain and a woman's brain. According to science, a man's brain is generally larger than a woman's. However, women have more nerve cells and connections than men. So, the left side of a woman's brain is more used for emotional processing. Men, on the other hand, are more used for logic. Because of the difference between a man's and a woman's brain, the number of female mental patients is twice that of male mental patients. Whether you're awake and in pain every day, unable to take care of yourself and needing to rely on others, or whether you're asleep, what you experience in your brain is happiness, what you want, and joy. Everyone's brain can build another world. We call it imagination. Every day, 100,000 chemical reactions occur in everyone's brain. Some emotions, we call them sadness, depression, and sadness. After these chemical reactions, they will produce toxins that stimulate the nerves and affect a person's worldview, outlook on life, behavior, thoughts, rationality, and decisions. Some emotions, we call joy, excitement, and happiness. These chemical reactions will also produce antidotes. They will change the depressed people's hopeless thoughts and gradually improve. They will also suddenly purify evil spirits. Chapter 744. Specialist by, Can you be happy every day? A reporter asked. Baiya smiled. Of course not. I'll be annoyed because I didn't bring an umbrella on a rainy day. I'll also be stressed because the patient's family doesn't understand me. When I catch a cold, I'll feel pain. When I get tricked, I'll get angry. I'll be depressed because I don't have food to eat. I'll also be happy because people don't like me. There will be many emotional changes in a day. However, with effective control and adjustment, I can quickly cheer myself up. If it's something that can't be solved, then don't worry about it. What if it's something that can't be solved? That's a good question. If it's something that can't be solved, then giving up is another way. As long as you're willing, you'll get it, Baya said calmly. What if it's something that has to be solved? The reporter asked again. It's already unsolvable. If you keep staring at it, then the first person to break down will be the person who needs to solve the problem. Moreover, they won't get what they want. They'll only think about the difficulties that will come after they can't solve it. They'll become pessimistic and even despair. Can I understand it as avoidance? The reporter asked again. In my eyes, it's flexibility. If you think that it's avoidance or you don't agree with my thoughts and concerns, then I can only say that you shouldn't be so serious about unhappiness. It's a small matter anyway. Don't waste your energy and time on it. The one who's unhappy is yourself. I'd rather use this time to do something that makes me happy, Baya replied. There was a thunderous applause below the stage. Baya smiled and nodded. Thank you to the authoritative expert in psychology, Baya, for your guidance, the host said warmly. Then, he invited the expert in psychology. An hour later, all the experts in the field had spoken and left their phone numbers. Baya walked out of the venue. 4 policemen in plain clothes walked over. Hello, Miss Bai. Do you still recognize me? I'm George. We worked together on a previous case. Baya recognized him. Hello, are you looking for me? You have a patient named Michelle among your clients, right? George asked. Baya nodded. It's been 3 months since I last saw her. What happened to her? Can we talk somewhere else? George asked in a friendly manner. All right. Baya and his assistant followed George and the other police officers to a cafe not far away. Michelle committed suicide this morning, but it was very strange when she committed suicide. Can you tell me more about her condition? George asked. Suicide. Baya was shocked. No way. Why do you think it's impossible? George asked. The reason she was depressed was because of her son's death. She felt that she had a very important role to play in the death of her son. She didn't watch over him properly, which led to him being kidnapped and killed. After that, she would have nightmares every night. She blamed herself, felt guilty, and had insomnia. In the beginning, they had to come every day. Then they had to come every week, and then they had to come for a month. That means she's getting better, right? George asked. Of course, I can feel her mental state. 3 months ago, she came to see me for the last time. She was in a good mood. She said that she was 3 months pregnant and that this time, she must take good care of her baby and not let anything happen to the baby. So, I don't understand why she would actually commit suicide. Unless there was a huge change in her life that took away her hope, Baya frowned. George and the police officers looked at each other and said to Baya, she committed suicide in a secret room. She cut open her stomach and died from excessive blood loss. She sent a suicide note to her husband through an email. However, she wrote on her Facebook that she wouldn't die and that she would watch all of you die a horrible death. We suspect that she was murdered. But her husband said that she would often have another personality, which made them feel afraid. It was also written in her suicide note. Can I take a look at the suicide note? Baya asked. All right. George passed the phone to Baya. Baya looked at Michelle's suicide note in George's phone and said, this suicide note is fake. George was shocked. Why do you think so? In it, she said that she knew that I was sick. My husband was afraid of hurting me, so he wouldn't tell me anything. She clearly saw me stabbing him with a knife. I think I'm possessed by a ghost. I can't hurt the people who love me, so I decided to end my life. You suspect that when there's a split, the person involved won't know, so there's a loophole. But she also wrote about it on Facebook, George said. Then she should be creating the illusion that she's a mental patient. Her target is her husband. You should talk to her husband, Baya suggested. I understand. Thank you, Miss Bai, George said. You're welcome, Baya said politely and drank the coffee in her cup. George and the others left first. Baya was still leisurely drinking coffee and listening to beautiful music. Sister Baya, aren't you going to intervene in this case? The assistant asked. Of course not. It's an obvious murderer with a clear modus operandi. It's just a small case. They can solve it themselves, and it won't cause a sensation. There's no need. Sister Baya, you're amazing. You're so observant. If we don't run a psychology clinic, we can open a private detective agency. Business will definitely be good, the assistant praised. Everyone has their own specialties. Contentment brings happiness. As long as you're happy, Baya said with a smile. Sister Baya, I didn't arrange any patients for you in the afternoon. Are you still going to the clinic in the afternoon? Baya leaned on the sofa. I'm not going. I'll just lie here and listen to music. It's pretty good. You can go back. Oh, then I'll go back first, Sister Baya. I have patients in the afternoon. Okay, Baya replied lazily. She closed her eyes and fell asleep. In her sleep, someone covered her with a blanket. She could feel that person's gentleness, and it felt familiar. Baya was in a daze. She squinted her eyes and saw a short-haired man against the light. The light was a little dazzling. She closed her eyes and ignored it. When she woke up, she found a blanket covering her body. She smiled slightly. When she fell asleep, it felt quite warm to be covered by a stranger with a blanket. She didn't want to wake up from the dream. She could even meet a romantic love. She got up and went to the bathroom to wash her face. When she came out, the coffee was already cold. She looked at the time. It was already 5 in the afternoon. She had slept for quite a long time. She pressed the beeper. The waiter smiled and walked forward. Bill please, Baya said. Chapter 745. Did he pay with an app or cash? Baya asked. If it wasn't cash, she could return the money to him. She wasn't used to letting others pay for her. He paid with cash, and he's a very handsome man. He was sitting near you and covered you with a blanket. He's also from country A, the waitress said. Baya smiled. It seemed that she couldn't return the money. She met an old friend in her hometown, gave him some care, and then disappeared into the crowd. She still liked this warm feeling. Thank you. Baya took her bag and walked out of the cafe. Her phone rang. It was the police chief. She picked up the phone. Miss Bai, it's Joan. Are you free now? The police chief asked politely. Baya had worked with the police a few times before. She knew that their call must be about a case. Otherwise, they wouldn't call her for no reason. I just came out of the cafe. I'm going to buy some groceries to cook. Tell me if you have something to say. I'm listening, Baya said. She waved the taxi and got in. Can you come to the police station? The governor is there too. He's very interested in you, Joan said. She wasn't interested in the governor, but she worked and lived here. It wouldn't do her any good to offend them. I'll be there in 20 minutes. 20 minutes later. Baya arrived at the police station. A policeman led her to the chief's office. There were 2 guards standing in front of the chief's office. They were expressionless. The policeman pushed the door open and reported. Baya walked over. The governor and the chief stood up politely. I've heard about your deeds. I've always wanted to meet you, but I've been too busy recently. I'm very happy to meet you, the governor said politely. Baya also greeted him. It's an honor to meet you, Governor. Joan often talks about you in front of me. You've cooperated with many cases. I'm thinking of inviting you to join our special operation team. Are you willing? The governor said. I have my own job now. I'm worried that it will affect my clinic if I'm distracted. I'm really sorry, Baya rejected politely. That's not a problem. We can accommodate your time. Moreover, if we manage to get sponsors, we will give you good treatment. Baya smiled. Her grandfather had given her a huge sum of money. With the interest of this sum of money, she would not have to worry about food or clothing for the rest of her life. Running a clinic was just to give her something to do. She would not be idle. She did not care about money. Can I have another thing? Go ahead. The governor didn't agree immediately. Hypnosis. Actually, it's hypnosis of a person's spirit. I've been researching on the brain, and I want to get more data. I know of a laboratory that specializes in researching the human brain, but it's not open to the public. I hope that the governor can introduce me there to study, Baya requested. That's not a problem. This time, your sponsor and the laboratory sponsor are the same. Brother units shouldn't be a problem. I'll talk to the leader over there. Does that mean you've agreed to join the new team? The governor asked happily. Sure, Baya replied. That's great. I'll be the host tonight. I'll invite the others over and let them get to know each other tonight, the governor said to Joan. It's a blessing for our police station that they formed a team. Many unsolvable cases, including the serial killer case, can be solved. It will definitely cause a sensation, Joan said happily. At night, Baya met their team members. Other than her, they were all Americans. Ali, female, black. She was good at martial arts and had good judgment. She used to be a secret agent. Howard, male, retired Special Forces soldier. He was good at martial arts, weapons, and had strong analytical skills. Rui, an elite of the FBA. He had strong investigative and case-solving skills. He had participated in many large-scale cases. Baya had worked with him a few times, so she was familiar with him. The last one was called Ivy. He was a computer expert. He was famous for his dark side. When he was 15, he had already hacked into the national defense. Because he was a talent, an exception was made. Let's have a nice and cool name for our team, Ivy pushed up her glasses and said with a smile. How about Storm? Rui asked. I think Storm is cool and destructive, but because Storm is neutral, I can't hear the sense of justice, Ivy denied. Punisher, Howard said. It sounds like a straight man. It's too straightforward. There's no charm at all, Ivy denied again. Then it's called Sunshine, Howard said again. Sunshine is too warm. It doesn't even feel cool or intimidating, Ivy said in disdain. Then think of a better one, Howard said angrily. Ivy looked at Baya with a smile. She blushed and said in a softer voice, Baya, why don't you give it a name? Baya didn't care about names at all. She didn't even think about it. When she was suddenly called, she was stunned and said, 11. Why 11? Ellie asked in confusion. 11, marked with Arabic numerals means 11, implying that justice has long arms, and there is only one truth, which is that you are the murderer. As Baya spoke, she felt a little embarrassed, as she had gone a little too far with her nonsense. Plus, it's November now, the month we form a team. It means that all the cases will be restored to their original state. The murderer won't get away with it, Baya continued. I think it's a good idea. Let's call it 11. It's very subtle and has a good meaning. It won't show off, but it's full of killing intent, Ivy said respectfully. I think it's a good idea. Ellie raised her hand. In fact, it was already approved with 3 votes. The others who didn't think it was a good idea could only raise their hands. Alright, your codename will be 11. I will now draft up a document and pass it down. The area under my jurisdiction will be under your command. The main thing is that if you achieve results, the other states will also invite you. Slowly, your authority will increase, the governor said happily. Let's take it slow. No one can become fat in one bite, Joan said with a smile. An assistant next to Joan took the opportunity to say, there's been a very strange serial murder case recently. Let me introduce it to you. We'll talk at the police station tomorrow after work, okay? Ellie interrupted. Joan's assistant made an okay gesture apologetically. After dinner. Chapter 746. Baya became nervous and took out the baton from her bag. She quickly walked around the corner and leaned against the wall, quietly listening to the approaching footsteps. 1, 2, 3. Baya suddenly walked around the corner and looked at the person fearlessly. She frowned and said, It's you. Why are you following me? That. Ivy was caught and lowered her head awkwardly. She locked her eyes and didn't dare to look at Baya. Baya frowned. She could tell that he didn't want to hurt her. Ivy gathered her courage and said, I admire you very much and I've heard a lot about you. I'm not following you. I just want to escort you home and then I'll leave. Baya looked at her young brother and smiled slightly. Thank you, Ivy. That's very thoughtful of you. Where do you live? I live. Ivy looked behind her. I'm living at my parents' house now. I think I'll move out in the future. If you move out alone, no one will cook for you and you'll be lonely. If possible, it's better to live with your parents. After you get married, you won't live with them anymore, Baya said gently. Ivy pursed her lips and looked at Baya embarrassedly. She lowered her head and confessed, I like you very much. I liked you the first time I saw you in the newspaper. Then they came to me. I didn't want to say yes, but when they said you're coming, I agreed immediately. Baya smiled gently. We're a team. We'll work hard together in the future. Go back early and rest early. I'll see you at the police station tomorrow. Oh, Baya, see you tomorrow. Ivy walked backward until she couldn't see Baya anymore. Then she turned around and left. Baya arrived home. She bought a small bungalow. It had 2.5 floors. The first floor was 120 square meters, the second floor was 120 square meters, and the third floor was 60 square meters. She built a canopy on the top so she could watch the stars from there. She also had a basement and an underground garage. The reason she bought this place was not only because there was a large garden in front, but also a nice yard. She often gathered with her friends in the yard, and it felt good. She entered the room and the first thing she did was to turn on the air conditioner and stereo. The room was filled with melodious music. She lit a sandalwood incense stick, went into the room, changed into loose clothes, and went to the bathroom. She had a special hot spring bathing pool, which was 4 meters long and 3 meters wide. There was even a fountain inside. She turned on the water first and went to the gym to do half a round of yoga. Then, she washed off the clothes she wore today and went to take a bath. She closed her eyes and didn't think about anything. She quietly enjoyed the massage of the water. 15 minutes later, she came out of the sink. Without running the water, she went to the bathroom to wash her clothes and looked at the time. It was almost 12 o'clock. She turned off the music, climbed into bed, and fell asleep immediately. At 6:00 the next morning, she slowly opened her eyes. The first thing she did was turn on the music and light some sandalwood incense. After brushing her teeth and rinsing her mouth, she cooked some porridge in the rice cooker and went to the back garden. He turned on the faucet and the water came out. The water was directly connected to the bathtub, which was environmentally friendly and water-saving. She watered the flowers and plants. She went to wash the bathtub, changed into the clothes she was going to wear today, and washed the pajamas from yesterday. She stir-fried some carrots and shredded meat, and the porridge in the pot was ready. She turned on the TV while eating breakfast and watched the hot news. This is the most tragic serial killer case in history. Whether it's a ghost or a devil in the human world, we need a fair judge. In the end, I hope this serial killer case will end soon, the host said with a passionate voice. She was watching the morning news. Usually, the news at this time was about what happened after 8:00 last night. Baya frowned. Was this the case that the assistant wanted to talk about yesterday? She continued to eat breakfast. After eating, she put on exquisite makeup, went to the nearby market to buy fresh ingredients and put them in the refrigerator. Her phone rang. She saw that it was the director and answered. Baya, can you come to the station at 9:30? It's urgent, the director asked. Is it about the serial killer case? Baya guessed. Yes. This is actually the fourth case in recent years. We've been keeping it a secret because we don't want to cause panic. We're under a lot of pressure. Now that it's out, the pressure is even greater, Cheong said helplessly. I know, but I have a patient at 9 in the morning. I might have to be there at 10:30, Baya said. Okay. We'll wait for you, the director said and hung up. Baya usually rode her bike to work, but she chose to drive to the police station today. 10 minutes after the car drove out, she saw a masked man in black quickly crossing the road. There were 4 or 5 people chasing after him. Because he was crossing the road, Baya drove very slowly, so as not to bump into someone. Suddenly, there was a bang. Someone fired. Baya braked immediately. The man in the mask leaned on her window, and the necklace fell out. Baya glanced at it with blurred vision. The picture in the necklace seemed to be her, but before she could see it clearly, the man in the mask closed the necklace, glanced at her, and quickly disappeared on the road. Baya was a little dazed. How could that man have her picture in his necklace? She must have seen it wrong. Beep, beep, beep. Someone behind honked and urged Baya. Baya came back to herself and drove away. She looked at the rearview mirror and saw that the man in the mask had already shaken off the pursuers. She went to the clinic. The patient was a 14-year-old child. However, American children developed better. Although he was only 14, he already looked like a young man. He was tall and strong, had a pale complexion, and had freckles on his face. From her point of view, the young man was very good-looking. He had big round eyes, deep double eyelids, a high nose bridge, thin lips, and was tall and thin. When he saw Baya, he stared at her and said directly, "I want to play with you." Baya smiled slightly. Since his parents came to find her, this child had more or less psychological problems. From his mother's phone call, she learned that he had sex with women several times and then beat them, as if he had changed into a different person. Can you tell me the reason? Baya asked very patiently. The premise of treating a mental patient was to know the cause of the disease. You're very beautiful. You have delicate makeup and a good figure. You're my type, the boy said directly without any awkwardness. Chapter 747. The boy's eyes were filled with panic, and his pupils dilated. He carefully looked to the side, and his whole body was trembling in fear. He said, "I didn't hit them. It was him. He hit them. Him." Baya had seen this kind of patient many times, so he was very calm. He asked, when he hit them, were you there? The boy nodded. I was there, but I was tied up by him. He didn't let me intervene. I watched him hit those girls. I was very scared. I was afraid that he would hit me too. You are a very strong boy. No, he is much stronger than me. He is 2 meters tall, and his arms are as thick as my thighs. He is very strong. I tried to stop him, but he pushed me away. I rolled down the stairs and was in the hospital for a week, the boy explained. Can you tell me what he looks like? Baya asked. The boy thought hard and shook his head. I don't know. I don't dare to look at him. I don't dare. He told me not to look. Then do you know why he keeps following you? Baya asked. Why? The boy was confused. I don't know. Why does he keep following me? Baya smiled. If he comes out to look for you again, you must take a good look at his face, his clothes, and remember every detail of his body. That way, I can find him and help you defeat him. You are so weak. Can you do it? The man said doubtfully. Baya smiled confidently. Of course, I have a secret treasure. No matter how strong he is, he will not be able to withstand a single blow from me. The problem is, you have to help me find him first. The boy's expression relaxed a little. He returned to the original topic. Can I have sex with you? No, Baya answered directly. Why? The boy was puzzled. You are still a child. The customs of your country are open. In fact, early contact with sex, or even infatuation, will cause poor health and early death. Really? In China, there was a dynasty called the Qing dynasty. When the children of the royal family reached the age of 12, the adults in the family would find them a bed attendant to let the children understand the matters between a man and a woman, so that they wouldn't be at a loss on their wedding night. However, children of this age have poor self-control and will be addicted to it. Other than stunting, it will also affect their health. Therefore, none of the princes live a long life. In fact, there are very few who are tall, Baya narrated in a relaxed manner. Is what you said true? The boy asked in fear. There's a lot of information on the internet. You can look it up. Also, can you tell me something that left the deepest impression on you? Baya easily changed the topic and controlled the conversation. The boy's eyes were locked. He didn't want to say anything. In exchange, I will tell you something that will leave a deep impression on you, Baya guided him in a friendly manner. You first. The boy was still a little guarded. When I was born, my father was with another woman. My mother was divorced and she had a mental breakdown. When I was young, she used a knife to slit my wrist. She also slit her own wrist. She wanted to commit suicide with me, but we were saved by our neighbor, Baya said calmly. The boy frowned. How old were you then? When I was 5 or 6, she was sent to a mental hospital. I didn't have anyone to adopt me, so I went to an orphanage, Baya continued. It's your turn. The boy paused and said, I witnessed a murder. My parents divorced a long time ago, and my father married another woman. That woman was very bad. She often beat me, and when my father wasn't home, she would sleep with other men on my father's bed. I found out many times that she did it for me. She wouldn't let me tell you, so she threatened me. If I told my father, she would kill me. What happened after that? Baya asked. My father caught her in bed with another man and beat her to death. My father went to jail and my mother took me away, the boy said. Baya understood the cause of his illness. He was traumatized when he was young and subconsciously felt that women were bad. In order to protect himself, he had been suppressing it. He suffered from mania and fantasized that a tall man would come out to protect him. How old were you that year? Baya asked. 7, no, 8, the boy said. Follow me, Baya said and brought him to the bathroom. Look at yourself in the mirror. The boy looked at himself in the mirror. Do you like to play football? Baya asked. Yes, very much, the boy said. What's your dream? Baya asked again. To be a PE teacher. Look, you're handsome, bright, and strong. Girls like you should like you. I can see confidence, bravery, and kindness in your eyes. Unfortunately, there's a person who's always following you. He's brought you a lot of trouble. He's made you get scolded by your parents. He even made you see a doctor. He's also made the women you like stay away from you and be afraid of you. How about we find him together and I destroy him? Baya asked with a smile. The boy nodded with certainty. I'll give you a number. When you see him, tell me, okay? Baya said patiently. The boy looked at Baya gratefully and nodded with trust. When I grow up, can I chase you? The boy asked. Yes, Baya said with a smile. When he grew up, there were still 2 years left. Many things would happen in these 2 years. Children's words shouldn't be taken too seriously. The boy left happily. Baya looked at the clock on the wall. It was already 9:50. She had to rush to the police station. The assistant came over. Sister Baya, many people called to make appointments with you. Yesterday's seminar had a good effect, the assistant said happily. I'll be very busy in the future. I won't be able to see everyone. Register everyone's situation first. Then, you can set a time for them based on the situation. If possible, take a look and see if there's anyone you can see. Sister Baya, our business is so good. Why don't we hire more doctors? The assistant asked confusedly. I opened a psychology clinic not to earn more money, but to have something to do. I'll go out first. I won't be coming to the office in the afternoon. See you tomorrow, Baya said with a smile. She went out to the basement car park. Suddenly, a man rushed out and hugged her. She was shocked. The electric baton was in her bag. She couldn't get it when she was hugged by him. Dr. Bai, I like you, the man said while panting. He pushed Baya against the car door and took off his pants. Baya couldn't move at all. He had just taken off his pants when he was pulled away by a strong force. Before he could see who it was, he felt a numbness on his back and fainted. Baya looked at the masked man who suddenly appeared. He had a necklace with her picture on it. Chapter 748. The man stared at her. Because he was wearing a mask, she couldn't see his eyes clearly. However, she felt that he should know her. Otherwise, why would he wear a necklace with her picture? Speak, Baya urged again. You don't want to know who I am. The man said. His voice was low and hoarse, like the last note of a cello. It made people feel a little sad. She rejected this sad feeling and did not continue to ask. Thank you for saving me. You're welcome. You saved me in the morning. We're even now, the man said. He turned around and quickly disappeared into the basement. Baya came back to his senses. There were some things that he wouldn't worry about if he didn't think about them. There were some things that he wouldn't be in danger if he didn't touch them, no matter how curious he was. She squatted down and pulled the mask off the man on the ground. She had met this man a few times. He seemed to be the salesman of the real estate company next door. She dialed a number. Joan, I've had an accident. Please send someone to the basement of my clinic. When everything was settled, it was already 11:30 p.m. when Baya arrived at the police station. Everyone else had arrived. She was also very apologetic. She nodded at her team members and said, "I'm sorry. In order to express my apology, I'll treat you to lunch." "It's fine. We've just arrived. Let's sign the contract individually first," Ivy said immediately. Baya smiled gratefully at Ivy. The director's assistant, who was also Detective Shin, entered the room, looked around, and said, "Since everyone is here, I will first talk about this urgent case. Does it have anything to do with the serial murders last night?" Rue asked. "Yes, actually, this is the 4th case this year." Shin turned on the projector. "This case is very strange. They are all families with dead husbands. No matter how many people there are, they will only leave the youngest child alive. One child is 5 years old, one child is 6 years old, one child is 3 years old, and one child is 1 year old. The second child is 2 years old." "So, it's not really a massacre," Ali interrupted. "This case is very special. The strangest thing is that the murderer is her dead husband." "What does that mean? Are the 4 serial cases all committed by the deceased husbands?" Howard asked, puzzled. "Yes, the testimonies of the 5-year-old, the 6-year-old, and the 3-year-old all said that their fathers came back and then they all died." Shin frowned. As he spoke, he felt scared and shivered. "Tell me in detail." Baya locked his eyes on the screen and said. Shin brought up the first case. "This is the first case. It happened in March. The victims were Annie's family. Annie's husband's parents, Annie, and their youngest son, who was 5 years old. The child said that his father had passed away due to illness and had been dead for half a year. He was very happy when he suddenly came back, but his father told him not to tell anyone and to stay in the same room with him. Before he knew it, he fell asleep. The next day, his grandparents disappeared. He told his mother, but she didn't believe him. But his father came back and took her away. After that, his mother never came back. But at night, his father came back and slept with him. When he woke up again, he found that his parents were gone. He saw it. After that, this child asked the neighbors if they had seen his family. His neighbors found something strange and called the police. The police found 3 bodies in the basement. Annie had been raped and there was no male DNA left in her body. Was there any skin tissue in Annie's fingernails or in her mouth? Rue asked. No, Annie's hands and feet were tied and her own clothes were stuffed in her mouth. She was strangled to death. Through practice, it was found that she was sexually aroused, Shin said. They were open-minded people. When Baya heard that, she couldn't help but blush. How did Annie's parents die? They were poisoned. Through tests, it was found that they died of fluoride. Annie's parents had high blood pressure and the fluoride was mixed into the medicine for high blood pressure, Shin explained. Let's talk about the second case, Baya said. The second case happened in May. It was Mary's family. She was pregnant with 2 children. Her husband had passed away 3 years ago due to a car accident. She had a 12-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. The son said that his father was back and wanted to take him out to play. He fell asleep in the car. When he woke up, he heard that his family was all dead. Mary and her 12-year-old daughter stabbed each other to death. Both of them were raped and there was no DNA left in their bodies. You said that the 12-year-old daughter was raped. Then it shouldn't be the biological father. Is this person a demon? Or does he know how to disguise himself? Howard frowned. Is there any financial loss? Baya asked. There's no loss in the bank account, but I'm not sure about the family. The witnesses were all children. Children don't know much about adults' finances, Shin explained. What about the third case? Ali asked. The third case happened in July. Hess was a beautiful female model. Her husband was a gangster. He was stabbed to death because he had an argument with someone. They had a 3-year-old child. The child said that his father was back. The murderer stayed in Hess's house for 2 months. In August, Hess wrote a sentence on Facebook. "I feel so happy. I want to be happy forever." And then? Ali asked anxiously. She found it unbelievable. In October, Hess's friend came to visit Hess. She said that she hadn't seen Hess for 3 months. She found Hess's body. She was dismembered and locked in the bathroom, Shin said. "Where's the child?" "No one took care of the child for a month." Ali asked. "There was enough milk powder, biscuits, and snacks at home. The child ate milk powder and biscuits alone. When she was found, she was malnourished. Her eyes were hollow, but her body was fine." "Are there no surveillance cameras around the neighborhood?" Hess was a female model. "There should be surveillance cameras installed at home, right?" Ali asked curiously. "There are surveillance cameras in the neighborhood. We did see a man's back, but we didn't see his face. There might be surveillance cameras in Hess's house, but we couldn't find them." The 4th case was last night. The one who survived was the 2-year-old baby. The others were burned to a crisp. The autopsy report didn't come out. "Since he entered the room, didn't he leave any fingerprints?" Howard asked. "He didn't leave any trace. It's like a ghost did it." "We can't do anything," Shin said helplessly. "Baya, you're a psychologist. After hearing all this, can you give us a profiling?" Ali asked. Everyone's eyes were on Baya, waiting for her to say, "Hello everyone, I'm Chin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat." Chapter 749. Baya looked at the projection and tapped the table rhythmically with her fingers. She said calmly, "Male, around 30 years old, 1.75 to 1.8 meters tall, thin, highly educated, high IQ, good EQ, unemployed, parents dead, brothers also dead, has a good fortune. Yes, he has a car. The car should be a luxurious one. He has average looks and is very eloquent. He usually looks harmless. It's easy to hide." "Other than these, what else?" Shin asked anxiously. "His psychological quality is quite good." The first case seemed to be perfect. He raised the knife without hesitation. It shouldn't be his first time committing crimes. Moreover, the frequency of his crimes is very stable, which means that he has developed a habit of committing crimes. He should have moved here at the beginning of this year. Work with the other states and see if they have similar cases. Find the first case. The more flaws the murderer left, the more clues we'll get, Baya continued. "I think there's one thing. Did you notice? Since the murderer disguised himself as the deceased, where did he get the files of the deceased?" Ali asked. "We thought of that too. It could be a funeral parlor, a cemetery, or a police station. However, the areas where the crime happened are very far away, so we can't find any traces of the murderer," Shin said dejectedly. "Why does he always leave one alive?" Ivy asked in confusion. "He has a criminal habit. It might be related to his past," Baya replied. "Next, what's the direction of your investigation?" Shin asked anxiously. The others looked at each other. As an experienced FBI agent, Rue said, "We'll go to the crime scene to take a look first. Contact the other police departments. Let me know if there's any news." "I'll talk to those kids," Baya said softly. "All right, I'll arrange it," said Shin. Baya smiled and stood up. "Baya, can you say anything else?" "I'd like to hear your thoughts again," Ivy invited. After saying that, her face turned slightly red. After the murderer got the files, he followed them for a long time. He might have appeared in the victim's home with an inconspicuous identity. He knew the situation in the victim's home like the back of his hand. On the day he was ready to take action, he planned in advance to let the others die, Baya said softly. So, you're saying that the people around the deceased might be the murderer? Rue asked. To be more precise, we'll get the surveillance footage of the people around the deceased's house for the past 2 months. See if there's any overlap between the victims, Baya said. Ivy was angry. When Shin asked for our direction, why didn't you say that we're a team? This isn't the time for your heroism. Baya looked at Ali calmly. Originally, I wanted to narrow the scope of this information to you after asking the children. It's not about individual heroism. Actually, we don't have to do this, right? The police station will cooperate with us. Hearing Baya's calm tone, Ali didn't know what to say. However, her heart was still unhappy. Let's go. We'll go to the scene and let some people try to act tough. Baya smiled faintly and didn't argue. He didn't have to say anything. Baya, please come and sign the contract for your part. The director has already contacted the Brain Research Center. You can go anytime, just contact the person in charge. The people over there are also from country A, Shin said with a smile and handed the business card to Baya. Baya saw that the other party's name was Black. This name was very strange. It could not be considered a name. When translated, it meant black. She looked at his title, the head of the security department, and entered his name into her phone. She followed Shen to the HR department to sign the contract. They offered her a high salary of $1 million a year. She would be able to do her own thing when there were no cases, which was equivalent to a long-term part-time job. She quickly wrote her name on the contract. Should I take you to see the children now? Shen asked. Baya nodded. Sure. They don't have anyone to adopt them now. They are all in the orphanage. These children are very pitiful. Because the case is too strange and related to their father, the other relatives don't dare to claim them, Shen explained. This was human nature. Baya understood it the best. Bring me there. On the way, Baya bought 5 boxes of fruit-flavored candies. She ate one for herself. Soon, they arrived at the orphanage. She followed Shen to the director's office. When Shen expressed his intentions, the director complained to Shen, "These kids are weird. The other kids are afraid of them. They even injured a nurse last time. Now, they are grounded." Shen was speechless when he heard that. Baya frowned and looked at the director. Before you felt that they were strange, did you see them as normal people? They were treated as monsters in the orphanage and were called monsters. After a long time, they also felt that they were monsters. In your eyes, they are the symbol of demons. Why don't they do what demons do? The director's face turned ugly. What do you mean by that? Are you saying that we are wrong? We have to take care of many children every day. The most troublesome thing is these mischievous weirdos. So, you locked them up and made them even more resentful. From a young age, their personalities have been distorted. Before they came here, they were the treasures of their parents. They are just like normal people. Moreover, the oldest among them is only 6 years old. Who are you? The director's eyes widened in displeasure. Shen looked troubled and introduced, she is the famous psychologist, Baya. The director stopped talking. She remembered that she had heard about this famous psychologist from her subordinates last time. She changed her attitude and said with a smile, "I'm sorry, we are also looking for a solution. If you can tell us, that would be the best. I'll talk about it after I see them." "Get the youngest over here first," Baya said. "Okay, I'll get someone to find him," the director said and gave the assistant a look. The assistant nodded and walked away in a hurry. Baya glanced at her and said to the director, "When I ask questions later, I hope we can be alone. Is that okay? Sure, but those children sometimes seem to be crazy. Dr. Bai, you have to be careful. Stay 2 meters away from them, the director reminded. Bai smiled. They are just children. Don't worry, I will protect myself. Chapter 750. Bai squatted down in front of the child. The child was very pretty. His eyes were big and blue, with long eyelashes. His face was round and fair like a doll. However, his eyes were red and he looked at Bai warily. He pursed his lips and did not move or speak. Shen asked the others to leave the room first. Bai glanced at the window and saw that the director was still there. She smiled and took out 5 candies from the box. She asked the child, "There are 5 candies here. Apple-flavored, watermelon-flavored, strawberry-flavored, grape-flavored, and lemon-flavored. Which one do you like?" The child stared at Bai. Seeing that Bai was harmless, he carefully took the grape-flavored one. Bai took the candy from him, peeled off the wrapper, and handed it to him. The little guy put it in his mouth. Bai also took a grape-flavored fruit candy from the box and put it in her mouth. She asked casually, "Do you miss Daddy?" The child looked at Bai and shook his head. "Daddy is already in heaven." "Did you not see Daddy yesterday?" Bai asked immediately. The child shook his head. "It was the day before yesterday. I saw him. I think he was Daddy. He brought me to buy hamburgers. I fell asleep while eating. When I woke up, the child's eyes were red and they were about to fall out. Mommy, I want mommy, I want mommy." He looked outside the window. "Mommy, mommy," Bai looked at his helpless look and felt a little sour in her heart. He was still a 2-year-old child. Perhaps he still did not understand that he was already an orphan. Bai took out a box of candies from her bag and shook it. There was a sound from the box. The child was attracted by the sound and looked at Bai. Bai handed the box to the child. "I have a box of fruit candies here. You can eat them all. Be good, okay?" The child's tears were still hanging in the corner of his eyes. He took the fruit candies from Bai's hand. Bai did not give it to him. She smiled and said, "Can you answer a few questions for me? Other than Mom, Grandma, and Grandpa, who do you like the most?" The child thought for a moment. "I like Uncle Jack the most. He has a lot of toys and he even gave me a lot." "Apart from Uncle Jack?" Bai asked. The child shook his head and took the candy from Bai's hand. Bai gave it to him and said to the outside, "Call the 5-year-old over." The assistant carried the child away. After a while, she returned with a 5-year-old boy. The little boy was furious and looked at Bai in an unruly manner. His eyes were filled with hatred and killing intent. Bai smiled and gently said, "Don't be afraid, I won't hurt you. I'm a good friend of your mother, and she asked me to fulfill your wish of eating. What do you want to eat? Were you really sent by my mother?" The little boy asked in disbelief. "Let's go to my car and talk, okay?" Bai walked in front and opened the door. The director blocked Bai's way. "You want to bring him out? That's not very good. After all, we need to manage the orphanage. It's not good to break the rules and regulations." "What rules and regulations did you break?" Bai scrutinized her and asked. Her eyes flashed like sharp X-rays. "Children in the orphanage are not allowed to go out. If not, they will become wild," the director insisted. "Shen, call the director and ask him to contact the governor. Then, ask the governor to call the director and ask if I can bring a child out for a meal," Bai said sternly. The director felt guilty. "Then, you guys should leave secretly. Don't let other children see you. Neil, don't talk nonsense when you go out. Don't cause trouble. If not, your little friend will be in trouble, the director warned the child. Baya smiled and looked at the director. From the assistant's nervousness, the director's strong objection, and the warning, she was sure that this orphanage had an unspeakable secret. Let's go, Neil. Baya walked in front. Neil lowered his head and pursed his lips. He followed behind Baya. Neil, what do you want to eat? Baya asked. I want to eat hamburgers, Neil said. All right, I'll bring you there now, Baya said with a smile. Then, she looked at Shin. Shin, help me do something. Baya got into the car and passed Neil a box of fruit candy. She asked casually, you don't like the director? I don't like her, Neil said with certainty. He looked very serious. Why? She always hits me and scolds me. She doesn't give us any food. Also, she beat Dirk to death. I saw it with my own eyes, Neil said angrily. Dirk? He's a 12-year-old kid. He takes good care of me. He's the only one who secretly gives me food, but he can't talk. He was beaten to death by the director because he gave me food, Neil said angrily. Shin, I think it's necessary for you to investigate this, Dean, Baya said to Shin. Okay, I'll do it when I get back. Baya rubbed Neil's head. I'll help you. Neil looked at Baya with a gentler expression. Thank you. Neil, do you know an Uncle Jack? Baya asked casually. I do. He used to give me a lot of toys, but after Mom's accident, he never appeared again, Neil said sadly. Do you remember what he looks like? Uncle Jack is a clown. He has colorful hair, a red nose, and a big mouth. How many times have you met him? Neil pursed his lips and hesitated. I promised Uncle Jack that I wouldn't tell him. He's very nice to me. He buys me a lot of toys and gives me good food. But Uncle Jack hasn't appeared for a long time. Maybe he's sick or he can't find you. I want to help you, Baya said gently as she rubbed Neil's head. Neil was convinced. Uncle Jack often comes to my house when there's no one else. He asks people to keep our relationship a secret. I didn't tell anyone. Neil, think about it. Did he appear 2 months before your dad came back? Neil shook his head. I don't remember. Then do you remember the first time you met? Baya asked. Mom held my hand as we walked in the mall. We met Uncle Jack, and he gave me toys and roses. A few days later, Uncle Jack came to find me and gave me new toys. He promised me that as long as I didn't tell anyone, he would come and give me more toys. Oh, he came every 3 days and gave me a toy each time. I got a total of 7 toys, Neil said. Baya understood. Which toys are there now? Where are they? Neil shook his head, his eyes red. I don't have any toys. Mom, Grandpa, or Grandma. Grow up well, study hard, learn skills, and you'll still have your family, Baya consoled. The car stopped in front of a McDonald's. Baya bought enough hamburgers for him. They walked out of the McDonald's. A car rushed towards her. Baya stopped moving. Scenes flashed through her mind. It seemed like there was a car that wanted to hit her. Then, a man appeared and saved her. She couldn't remember what that man looked like, but her heart suddenly hurt. She pressed on her chest to cushion the pain. She didn't have the energy to care about the car rushing towards her. Chapter 751. Bang! There was a loud sound. The car that was about to hit Baya was knocked away by a container truck. 4 policemen quickly got out and pointed their guns at the car. Get out of the car, Shin shouted. He looked at the black car window and opened the door. He was shocked to see the assistant of the orphanage in the driver's seat. Why are you here? The assistant looked at Shin in fear. When he saw that he was caught, his face turned pale. Bring him to the police station first, Shin said. The policeman pressed the assistant against the car. How did you know that someone would hit you with a car? Shin asked Baya curiously. Baya had asked him to prepare a car and wait at the door when she was eating. Someone might hit her with a car and he was right. Go to the orphanage now and arrest all the adults. You have to be quick. Otherwise, when they come to their senses, the children in the orphanage will be in danger, Baya said anxiously. Okay, I'll do it now. Shin quickly called the police station chief. Baya held Neil's hand and got into her car. She said gently, don't be afraid. Anyone who does bad things will be brought to justice. Will the police arrest the dean as well? Neil asked in a clear voice. Yes, justice will prevail over evil. There will be good uncles and aunties to take care of you and accompany you as you grow up happily. They said that we are monsters and no one wants to come near us, Neil said with red eyes. Baya hugged Neil in her arms. How can you be monsters? It's just that every future hero has an extraordinary childhood. It's because God wants you to be tougher and stronger than others since you were young. You know how to take care of yourself so that when you grow up, you can become a great person. Like Spider-Man? Neil asked. Baya smiled. You will become an even greater person than Spider-Man. Spider-Man didn't know as much as you did when he was 5 years old. Neil nodded. I will definitely become someone braver than Spider-Man. Of course. Baya smiled. I'll bring you to the police station and see how they catch the bad guys. At 3 in the afternoon Baya listened to the music and sipped her coffee leisurely. Neil sat cross-legged on the sofa and flipped through the comic she had given him. Shin knocked on the door. Come in, Baya said and put down the coffee cup. They're all recruiting. It turns out that the orphanage is secretly an illegal organ trafficking agency. The director also confessed. She killed a child, Shin Jonghyun reported. Well, what about the children in the orphanage? Baya asked worriedly. The director has already told the governor that he will immediately send some people from other orphanages to take care of these children, Shin said. Are the people we sent reliable? The governor is also worried about the possibility of child abuse, so he asked the police to cooperate and station 2 police officers there to monitor them at all times. Baya nodded and said to Neil, now that you have good uncles and aunties to take care of you, you also have the police to protect you. From now on, you can happily spend time with your friends. Thank you, Neil said sincerely. Will 11's team members return to the company today? Baya asked. They'll be back at 3:30. Okay. The police officers sent Neil back. The others were not back yet. Baya looked through her phone and thought of the person called Black. She took out her business card and made a call. Hello, are you Black? Baya asked politely. The other party was silent and did not speak. Baya thought that the signal was bad. Hello, can you hear me? Yes, he replied. Baya's heart trembled. This voice sounded familiar. It's like this. I want to come to the research institute at 1300 hours tomorrow afternoon. Is that okay? Yes, call me when you're here. Black said. Baya frowned. You're the person who saved me, right? I can recognize your voices. The other party fell silent again. Hello, Baya said. He replied, yes, but I hope you can keep it a secret. Baya replied. He hung up the phone. She felt that he was a very cold person. Moreover, he was very guarded and mysterious. But why did he have her photo on him? 3:30. The 11 team members were back. Did you guys find anything? Shin asked anxiously. They had been bombarded by reporters today. The director was in a bad mood and was angry. As the director's assistant, Shen was not having a good time either. Rui shook his head. The culprit is very clean. There are no clues at all. Have you seen the photo album? It would be best if it was taken at home recently, Baya asked. There is a photo album. I flipped through it but didn't find anything special, Ailey said. Can I see the photo album too? Baya asked. Yes, I brought the photo album. Ailey took out the photo album from her briefcase and passed it to Baya. Baya put on disposable gloves and flipped through the album casually. When she saw what she was looking for, she pointed at the stuffed bear on the sofa. Did you guys find this toy at home? Rui looked over. I really didn't notice it. What about this? Baya pointed at a toy truck in the corner. Rui shook his head. This thing is so small. I really didn't notice it. What's wrong with it? The culprit is a person who pretends to be a clown. His nickname is Uncle Jack. He usually pretends to be a clown and gives toys to children at various shopping malls or amusement parks. He also gives roses to the children's mothers. When the mother receives the roses happily, the children will naturally lower their guard against strangers when they see that the mother is happy, Baya said. And then? Ailey was impatient and asked. He will cast a net and use the surveillance in the toys to monitor the family. He will observe and find the target of his attack as well as the time gap. Ailey didn't believe it. How free must he be? After all, it's not easy to find a family where the husband died. He is very patient and has his own way of judging. He will use a month to find and observe the family. Then, he will use another month to slowly test the waters. Finally, he will make his move, Baya explained. That's impossible. According to you, this case can be solved just like that, with just you. What do you want us to do? Is everything we've done today for nothing? Ali complained. Baya smiled. I think you are using your time to target me instead of doing what you should be doing. I just can't stand people being arrogant and self-righteous, Ailey said in disdain. Whether it's arrogant and self-righteous, we will know in a week's time, Baya said calmly. Hello everyone, I am Chin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. Love Story Bookstore and listen to the radio dramas adapted from novels.